You're listening to the Seven Rivers Student Ministry podcast. We believe that all students are lovable through a relationship with Jesus. If you'd like to know more about our ministry, you can visit us at www.sevenrivers.org/students. Welcome to the Culture Cast.
The Culture Cast!
Woohoo! Where we engage culture with the gospel shades of our faith. So we engage culture with our faith, where we essentially take, an artist, we take a music video, we take a, something created that maybe wouldn't be considered Christian, and we go back to the whole Genesis 1:27 thing where we're all made in God's image, so even non-Christian bear God's image, and we say, look, there's truth in this, and there's things that we can also challenge.
The Bible says so.
This I know.
For the
Bible says so. It's a classic children's song. We should break that one down.
Yeah, that might be one on episode 100.
It's very, I think it's very complex song.
It's very complex.
Yeah, incredibly deep. I do think it's deep. It really does resonate with me. Jesus loves me, this I know. For the Bible tells me so. Ooh, ooh.
Jazz version right there.
Well, I'm Mikey Puckett.
I'm Jason Wayhead.
And we believe all students are lovable through
relationship with Jesus. That was good.
That was
amazing.
That was okay.
I think we gained 2 fans because of that.
I think it was okay. I mean, yeah, just because of that, you think people are 5-star reviewing us?
I think they love that.
I mean, yeah. If you thought that that was really good and you love the Culture Cast, why don't you just hit that little star button, 5-star us,
subscribe.
Say that Mike and Jason are awesome. We love you guys. If you don't think it's that good, just send us an email. Don't review us. Send us an email at srsm@sevenrivers.org. But let's dive into this awesome episode that we have for you guys. You ready, Jason?
I'm ready. What was that, Mikey? That was a weird noise.
No, do not even put this on me. Jason's over here making weird noises and saying it's me. So if you just blew out your speakers, you can blame Jason.
I don't know about that. We'll
for the random. It did sound like a whale. That was like a very whale-like.
I'm impressed that you made that sound, Mikey.
No, Jason, it wasn't me. Well, anyways, this episode is one of my favorite songs to break down. I've done it at youth group before. That's pretty good. There you go. It's Billie. It's the one and only Billie Eilish.
Ooh,
folks. Billie Eilish. She is incredible.
Do you want to talk about your crush?
I do. I'm a big Billie Eilish fan in the sense of like, she's just so honest. I just love that she's so honest, and even about some of the really dark sides of life and culture, she's very honest. And
she's, is she your top 5 favorite artist? She's top 5.
I don't know, top 5, more like top 1. I'm just kidding. The number 1.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about her song "When the Party's Over," and I think this song is just. I think there is a lot of. I think the reason why her music is touching is because it speaks about a lot of truth. And like, you might have listened to Billie Eilish and be like, how in the world does any of this have to do with Jesus? And when I first was listening to her, I was like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe these songs are songs that our generation and below are listening to and is their favorite songs. Like, these are really sad, or these are really intense, or these glorify like, some really horrible things. But because they're so honest, I think they have a lot of truth in them that we can like affirm and challenge. And so we're even going to take a step further, Jason. We're going to talk about the music video too. So if you haven't watched the Billie Eilish music video, you should try it. Look at it.
It's pretty creepy.
It makes you uncomfortable for sure.
I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I wish we did like a video of us reacting, like first time watching it. We were like, but once again, I think there's some truth in there, and I think she's capturing what a lot of students feel and what a lot of adults feel on the inside. I think she's putting some good words to it, and using a lot of creativity to really generate a feeling. And so when you think of a song like When the Party's Over, like just by the name title alone and by it being Billie Eilish, like it's interesting when you listen to the song. It's like the melody, and she even talks about this too in one of her interviews. It really moves you. It really convicts you. And it really just is powerful, just alone, the melody. Like, if you were just listening to that, you would get in all the feels without the lyrics.
Yeah.
You would just be taken there.
Yeah, it's a well-written melody.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I don't think I've, like, heard a melody like that other than, like, maybe, like, not especially vocally.
Yeah.
But maybe I've heard something like that on a violin but, like, it's just a very, I guess you would say, legato. Like, it's all connected.
Yes, it's very, yeah, it's beautiful. I would, want to listen to that stuff while I'm like studying or something, because it's just is mesmerizing and it just like immediately grabs your mind and attention and brings presence. It brings this presence to it. Like when you're listening to it, it brings you into the room. I think that is powerful. That's what song can do is bring you into your own skin and your own body and make you feel things. And that's why I love talking about art and culture and things like that. Is because
it engages our body.
Yeah, and it's invisible. Like, it's something that happens to you. Like, music is invisible. You don't see it.
Yeah.
You hear it, and then yet it has physical reality. Like, it creates a feeling inside of you that's very real, just by listening. So it's pretty powerful. Well, Billie, she grew up in L.A. She does a lot of work with her brother. Her brother is an artist as well, a singer-songwriter.
He wrote this song. And they worked on it together. And, she comes from a family, essentially, mom and dad are artists as well. And so just this creative, like, family. Oh, wow.
Just a ton of, like, creativity, and they are encouraged to pursue whatever they want and to, like, just dream big and go for it. And so there's just this kind of, like, almost like boundless creativity that is seen in Billie and in her brother.
Yeah.
And it's part of her family. It's part of her kind of the way she's been raised. But I think part of that comes too, like, with her creativity, and a lot of creatives have this, and a lot of artists have this, is comes with depression. What she's been open to talk about is her depression, her loneliness, relationships that have been, gone wrong. She's also, talks about being body shamed.
Yeah.
And part of being, like, a young artist is coming into a world where people can just take pot shots at you whenever they want. And so she wears baggy clothes. She's even said this: I wear baggy clothes because I don't want to be body shamed. I don't want people to be able to, like, point out things. And so she looks, and she also, like, one of the reasons is she looks really strange, and she'll, like, dye her hair colors and wear unique clothing that not most women would wear. But she does that as a way to be memorable, she says.
Wow.
And so she just is longing and seeking to be seen and not to be alone, to be known fully, and to be loved for who she is. And I think that longing is something that we all can relate to.
Yeah.
And it comes out in her songs.
That reminds me of, like, Post Malone's, like, tattoos,
Right.
because he's just insecure about his body. He has the face tattoos, and so that kind of, like, reminds me of Billie wearing baggy clothes and dyeing her hair.
Yeah. Yeah, and wanting to be different, wanting to be seen, wanting to be unique, wanting to be memorable. And I think a lot of her songs touch on that idea of longing to be remembered. What happens, when the lights turn out on this life? Will I be remembered? Will I be known? Will I be seen? Will I be appreciated, enjoyed, and delighted in? Am I lovable? Is it possible to love someone like me? In some ways, her clothing antagonizes that.
Yeah.
The way she dresses is like, who wants to love this? Like, look at all these baggy clothes. Like, I don't care. Like, love me or don't, And I think what is at the core of that is this longing of, like, if I dress this way, if I'm different, if I'm so unique, if I'm so abnormal, could it be possible that anyone loved me? And so, like, I've struggled with that on the inside of my own heart. I don't dress weird or abnormally or anything. I don't put it really necessarily to the test. But I have, sins. I have secrets. I have dark secrets. Like, if anyone knew this, could anyone possibly love me? And maybe if you're listening right now, maybe you have felt that.
Yeah.
Like, where people right now listening going,
man, if someone knew everything about me and saw me for who I really was, could it be possible for people to love me?
Yeah.
And I think that's what this song is also poking
Yeah.
at a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, that's a little bit about like Billie, her background, and we're gonna see how she brings that into When the Party's Over. If you haven't listened to the song or watched the music video, maybe pause this, listen to it, engage with it, think about it. I would say I think this would be something worth talking about, and then come back to this, and we're gonna try to say what we affirm, what is true, and then we're going to also challenge some of the content here as well. So let's just start off in the music video. Essentially, let me show you the scene. She's sitting in a white chair. There's a table in front of her, and there's a black cup.
And she's dressed in white too, right?
Yeah, she's dressed in white, and she has blue hair, right? I think.
Yeah.
Or black hair. I can't remember.
I think it's blue. I think it's like a dark blue.
So it's just a very like it's just what
It's
sticks out
creepy.
is her face. It's really because her clothes blend in. So
Yeah.
her face and her eyes stick out
And
because
the
those are
cup.
the only places with color, and the cup, which is like dark black.
Yeah.
And so she even said that the cup, and this is just wait, you want to do the fun fact with Jason? Fun fact with Jason.
Let's see. A fun fact that I have is
Xanthan gum and charcoal water.
what is it? It's
The cup, the cup is full of fun fact with Jason.
charcoal and
Xanthan gum.
xanthan gum. What is xanthan gum?
I don't know, but I thought that was, and she said it was disgusting to drink. But
Oh yeah, but she said she loved it,
yeah, she loves pain,
Which
she
is-
loves being uncomfortable.
which is really interesting.
yeah. I think when you listen to that song,
There's
she is
elements
she
of
is
the song in
comfortable
that.
being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
And she's making you uncomfortable with
Oh.
how comfortable she is with being.
she's
uncomfortable.
comfortable making me uncomfortable.
Exactly. And challenging our kind of paradigm. So it's a cup. And so during the song, she's reading these lyrics. And at some point, she grabs the cup and she just gulps it down. And then the music video ends with essentially the drink that she drank coming out
Of her eyes.
which is crazy. And then she's covered in this black goo. And it's just gross.
Does that kind of remind
and
you
yucky.
of like some people shoot milk out of their eyes?
People can actually shoot milk out of
Oh
their
yeah,
eyes?
you not seen this?
No, I haven't.
They
seen it.
I think they put it up their nose and then they can shoot it out their eye.
That is wild. I did not
Um,
know people can do that. People are talented.
Yeah, but this is more of like a tears
Yeah,
dripping.
Yeah, she's like
Um,
weeping and crying out this drink. And I remember watching this and thinking, this is kind of the way I was processing it. Is going, I was very uncomfortable watching this, but when I was watching it, I was like, no. What I was thinking was, this is what the world offers us.
Yeah,
Here I am. Here's a child. Here are you in the world. And the world makes it seem like, and what we have before us is just you in this black cup. And like, let's just say the black cup is, the curse, the world, sin, the shame. And it's what the world says you are and who you are.
yeah,
And so you're sitting there and you're going, I'm thirsty. I need to drink something in order to survive and live. And the world is saying and selling to you, this is it. This is the cup. This is your dreams. This is your hopes. This is what
this will
you long
satisfy
for.
you.
This will satisfy you. This will fill you
Yeah.
up. But it looks so gross. And like, that's a lot of us, like as kids, as we grow up, we start making our own choices and we're getting sold something by the world. And we start buying into what the world says. And then we start experiencing the shame. And we cry out from the inside. And it's just this like black stuff coming out of us. And then we realize we're yucky and gross. And
Yeah.
we look in the mirror and we don't like what we see. And we hate it. And then at the end of the video, it gives the appearance that she just like bleeds out this goo stuff and eventually passes away.
That kind of reminds me of like salt water. Like it looks like it will like hydrate you, refresh you, but if you drink salt water, you're actually more thirsty.
Yeah,
You're always
left
wanting
thirsty
more.
and wanting more, and you're just left emptier and emptier.
Yeah,
And this analogy,
and eventually it takes you.
yeah, in this analogy, this black stuff that the world is selling kills you. And like the title, When the Party's Over, and what she's talking about is like, after a party or something like that along those lines. She's actually talking about a relationship she has with a boy that's on the rocks. She's been, taken advantage of. She's sacrificed a lot. Like she's torn her shirt and to help this boy or this person in her life to stop bleeding. But nothing ever stops you leaving. And so she's like giving a lot of herself away.
Yeah.
But this person doesn't really care and
Yeah.
takes advantage of her. And it talks about it's this idea of in a relationship that you're giving so much to it with no return, and that there is so much sacrifice on your end, but there's no sacrifice on the other end. And doesn't that kind of describe a lot of our relationships just in general in dating, but also with our friends, with our culture, with our world? Like, our world is constantly selling us things. We have a relationship with that, and we give our money, we work hard in our time to buy all the things that we want, to have all the things we want, and to gain all the things we want. But it's like, you know, we're tearing our shirt off for the things that we want. We're sacrificing so much for the things we want, and yet it flees.
Yeah.
It runs away from us. It's always empty and always satisfying. Like your salt
Yeah.
water analogy. You're
Yeah.
always left wanting more. Like this black cup that she drinks, it ends up actually destroying her.
Yeah.
It ends up actually not satisfying her and
Yeah.
destroying her. And it's just like this relationship. So
On the note of the relationship, I have an interesting maybe perspective on the chorus, but you might have a different take, Mikey.
no, yeah, let's talk about it.
So the part where it says, "I could lie and say I like it like that, like it like that." Essentially, I'm thinking like, hey, if this is in a relationship, you can even say friends, like where one person's like obviously more into the boyfriend is really not into her as much as she's into him,
Right.
and so she essentially has to fake it to be like, oh yeah, I don't care. You know,
Right.
I don't want to show any emotions. I don't want to,
Yeah.
like, on the outside, I want to pretend like I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fine with how
it's
things
like
are
they're
going.
at the party and they're acting like boyfriend and girlfriend, and it's all
Yeah.
fun and games, and then at the end of the day they go home and she's on her own,
Yeah.
and like she was just used by him
Mm-hmm.
for his own identity, for his own purposes,
Mm-hmm.
and she could lie
Yeah.
and say I like it like that. And I think what she's implying by that is saying it's a lie.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm lonely and I don't
Yeah.
like it. And I think that's why I love her writing, because I feel like it resonates and is so true. Like, how many of us have gone out, not just to a party, but to anything, big event with people,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end of the night, like, it's just such a big, grand event. Maybe it was a concert, maybe it was something
Mhm.
really cool and incredible, but then you go to sleep at night and you're like, I'm really lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, that's happened to me a lot.
Yeah. I felt that even like just, you know, coming out of school,
Right.
like, wow, I'm actually really lonely.
Yeah.
I was just talking to 5 different people, but
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of lonely right now.
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, even though I'm around people, like, I don't know if I actually
Yeah. This is
know,
like a song you
have
sing.
community.
Yeah, this is like a song you sing after like a long day. You've been around people. You were called friend,
Mm-hmm.
but you weren't kept close. You're not that close, but you were
Yeah.
called friend still. And then you get home and you're like, it's quiet and you're alone and you're going to bed at night. And like, this is a song you sing as you're crying yourself to sleep.
Mm.
You know, like crying yourself, longing for something more, longing for what you don't have, longing for relationship, intimacy, and crying yourself to sleep because you don't have that. People don't know you for who you are. And you're also, one of the things you're scared of is if people did know you for who you really were, you think in your mind they probably wouldn't love me. If they actually knew me
Mhm.
and saw me for who I was, they wouldn't love me. And
Yeah.
so like we pretend like we like it. And then we
Yeah.
start the day the next day and we pretend like everything's good.
Yeah.
And then in reality, everything's falling apart
Mm-hmm.
and unhinging. And I think I can relate to a lot to that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the music video is capturing is every day there stands before you this black cup that you have to drink. So you have to drink it because it's the only cup that's offered to you as a human being. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why she even like directed the music video. Like this is what her vision was. And I think what she's saying is every single day I wake up, I sit in the chair and I'm offered this drink by the world and I have to pretend it's xanthan gum and freaking charcoal water. And I have to pretend that I like it like that. So I gulp it down
Yeah.
and I just consume. And then at the
Mm.
end of the day, it leaves me bleeding out
Yeah.
with all my mess, with all my junk, with all my chaos, with all
I
my
mean, worse than
brokenness.
the day before.
Yeah. And I'm more lonely now than I ever was.
Yeah.
I think that's like describing also, not only is she describing a relationship with a boy, but that sounds like a relationship with addictions. And like
Yeah.
as someone who has, struggled with addictions, me,
Mhm.
and recovered from addictions and has worked through that,
Yeah.
this sounds like an addiction to like alcohol, an addiction to pornography, an
Mm.
addiction to self-harming, an addiction to eating or eating disorders. Like this sounds like an addiction like that because we live it out, we walk it out, we have this relationship, and it requires with those things, with those items and objects, it requires everything from us. It
Yeah.
requires us to rip our shirt off and be there and be consistent and like chase after. It requires our lives, our sacrifice. We have to pour so much of ourselves out of it,
Yeah.
but it pours nothing back into us, and it just leaves us emptier and emptier.
It promises so much, but
Never
it-
delivers.
never.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like maybe you're listening to this and you struggle with addictions. I think this song captures that heart of struggling with an addiction. It also, if you are in a bad relationship, it captures that too. But I want to even go deeper than that.
Yeah.
I think it captures the addiction. And the thing with addictions and the thing with like bad relationships is you
Yeah.
get trapped. You get stuck. And so she even at the end says, let me let you, like, let's just let it go. Let me let you go.
Yeah.
She's pleading to the boyfriend, like to the boy, the relationship was like, let's just call it quits. Like, let's just say goodbye. But she can't unless he lets her go. Like she's pleading for this, praying for this, but she can't let go unless he lets her let, which shows the power play.
Yeah.
She's enslaved.
Yeah.
She's stuck. She's powerless. That's what addiction does to you. That's what bad relationship does to you, is put you in
Yeah.
a position of powerlessness. And the
It
person in
tricks you
power,
again and again.
again and again, and it manipulates you. And it manipulates your desires. And that's also what this culture and world sells us.
Yeah.
The whole goal of advertising, selling the products of this world is to manipulate you to purchase, to buy in, to sell your money, to sell your good works, like the things
Yeah.
that you've worked for and earned, to give away your money so that you can have something that you think you long for and it leaves you empty. That's the same thing with addiction. And so then all you're left with is yourself at the end of the day, and you hate yourself.
Yeah.
You hate yourself. And so like loneliness and depression. And so she even talks about, don't you know too much already? I'll only hurt you if you let me. She talks about the cost of herself to be loved requires someone to be hurt. If you're going to love Billie Eilish, if you're listening to the song, you're going to be wounded. You're going to have to sacrifice yourself. You're going to have to be wounded. You're going to have to tear your shirt off to love her for who she really is, because she's going to hurt you.
Yeah. And so there has to be someone has to take,
Right.
someone has to drink that cup,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's what she's pointing at, is like this is all that the relationship, like with this, like all that is happening with her is she's hurting, sacrificing herself. But in order for her to be loved back requires someone to sacrifice themselves. That is actually a great truth, that in order for love to take place, there has to be full sacrifice on both ends of their lives. You know, the Lord says in the Bible, Jesus says there's no greater love than this, than one to lay down his life for his friend. There's no greater love than to lay your life down for your friend.
Yeah.
That is the cost of love, is to lay your whole life down.
The only way to find your life is to lay it down.
Yeah, lay it down, exactly. And that's what Jesus is getting at in the Gospels. And that's what Billie Eilish is so close to understanding and communicating. It's like this could almost be transitioned to like, this is like a lament, and then we could almost go into, and Jesus laid his life down for us.
Yeah.
And so like, I feel like when you're watching the music video, I get so pumped because
Yeah.
I'm watching her, and what I'm longing for as she reaches to grab the cup to drink it, what I long to see in that moment is for another hand to enter the scene
Yes.
with a hole in it, another hand with a hole, a piercing where a nail has gone through, to grab the cup and say, I will drink this for you.
Yeah.
And drinks that cup, bleeds out himself, becomes the ugliness and death that is under the curse of sin, under the curse of this world.
Yeah.
That in all the ugliness that addiction and bad relationships offer, takes that all upon himself. And then leaves Billie, and leaves us
White.
White as snow.
Yeah.
Satisfied, content,
Yeah.
whole, because life has been laid down
Yeah.
and sacrificed, because they
The
know
black has been taken
what they
on.
want now. It's not actually a cup to drink, but what they want is love. But all that's offered is this product that they have to drink every single day. And what you really long for is not this product, not this addiction, not this bad relationship. What you long for is true love, which is found in Christ and his sacrifice on the cross. And so like the Lord drinks that cup for us, and then he offers us in communion. So this is why the Lord's table is a big deal. He offers us in communion the wine and the bread and the food, and he says, drink my cup. Now you drink this cup. This is my blood shed for you. This is my body broken for you. You drink and eat this, I will drink your cup and die.
There's an interesting, in the Book of Common Prayer, which is like an old church order book, and it talks about communion as the gift of God for his people.
Right.
So this is a gift to you, like that Jesus took on, the black cup.
You don't have to tear your shirt.
Yeah.
You don't have to actually, there's nothing you offer.
Yeah.
Like Jesus is offering himself.
It's 100% given, It's a gift,
Yeah.
to you, to the people, to his children. I love the analogy you gave of someone taking the cup for you. It's out of your hands, and
in some ways I wonder if this is the song that Jesus sings to us as I'm thinking about this. Like he talks about how Jesus would say, I tear my shirt to stop your bleeding. I give my life up to stop you losing your life. But nothing ever stops you leaving me. Like I wonder if you're, like as I'm just looking at this and like he wants to have relationship with you. And he could say he likes it like that. He likes it like that, but that's a lie. He doesn't. Yeah. He longs for you. He wants you. You're his bride.
Yeah.
He loves you. He sees you. He knows your hurt and he knows your pain. He knows where your wounds are. And he wants to offer his short. And like a lot of times I feel like you and I, we take advantage of Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Like we say, oh, yeah, Jesus, give me your grace and mercy so that I can keep on sinning. So I can keep cutting myself up and bleeding out. So that I can keep wounding myself and keep having this relationship with my addiction instead of with you. But thank goodness, like, so like sometimes like when I'm in, when you're in an addictive relationship, when you're in a bad relationship, like you're actually turning away from the Lord, from Jesus, which offers good relationship, healthiness. And you're turning to something else, but you're using, if you're a Christian, you're just kind of using Jesus as your kind of like your get out of jail free card. And it's not get out of jail free card. This is the heart of the Lord for you. He wants you to come. He wants you to come home with him. He doesn't want to go home alone without you. He wants you to come home with him. He's chasing after you. And you are saying, don't you know, like we reply like, don't you know I'm not good enough? Don't you know that, I'll only hurt you? And he says, yes, of course. Yes, of course. But I still love you. I still love you. I love you even while you're still a sinner. I mean, that gets me excited.
That's the best way to wrap it up. That was
Jason's like, can you stop talking? I'm sorry, guys.
We actually cut out 20 minutes in between.
This is like my favorite stuff right here. This is I just think there's just so much goodness in it. So
no, that was beautiful, Mikey.
I mean, obviously we pushed back against some of this, but I think there's so many things that we can affirm and grab and talk about in this. I think it's really good. So we love you guys. You guys matter. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. This podcast is brought to you by Spilled Milk.
Thank you, Jason, for that plug.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Culture Cast, where we engage culture with the gospel. If you have any questions, or maybe you have a favorite song that you would want us to talk about, or a movie or Netflix show that we can maybe bring into this podcast, we would love to. So you can reach out to us at srsm@sevenrivers.org. That's srsm@sevenrivers.org. Send us an email, and we'll engage with that content that you offer us, or any questions or concerns that you have. If you also want to find out more about our ministry, Seven Rivers Student Ministry, you can go to sevenrivers.org/students. We love you guys. You matter to us, and you're lovable through a relationship with Jesus.